Have we just found dark matter? Out of all of the matter in the universe, only 5% is the actual stuff that we can see. The rest of this is something called dark matter and dark energy. We can observe that galaxies rotate faster than they should and have gravitational effects that are much, much stronger than the actual matter that we can see. This dark matter doesn't give off any light. But astronomers are still trying to look for this light. To understand why, you'll need to learn a little bit about the electromagnetic spectrum. Here we have light. Light is a wave. The light that we can see, called visible light, is represented around in the middle of this graph. Right at the bottom of these very low frequency waves is radio waves, which is what our mobile phones use to communicate. At the very highest waves, the highest energy, the highest frequency, are something called gamma rays. And it's gamma rays that astronomers look for in the universe to work out if they can see dark matter or not. Astronomers were looking towards the center of the Milky Way with a special space telescope called the Fermi Gamma Ray Telescope. About 10 years ago, they saw this weird spike from the center of the Milky Way, which couldn't be explained by any of the other astrophysical sources we knew about, so things like exploding stars or new stars forming. It just seemed to be way more than we could account for. Astronomers at the time said that this could be a signature of dark matter. That's because one idea of what dark matter is made of is something called weakly interacting massive particles. These particles are massive, so they provide the mass that we see from gravitation in galaxies, but that we can't observe with light. But they never interact with regular matter. However, they can interact with themselves. When they do this, they self-annihilate, which means that they both pop out of existence and release a flash of gamma ray radiation, what we were talking about earlier. So when astronomers saw this spike from the center of the galaxy, they thought it could be the first tantalizing hints of WIMPs. However, astronomers got in big debates about what this spike actually came from. This debate had gone on and on for the past decade. But in October, a group of astronomers, including Joseph Silk, argued that the shape of the excess that we see, this spike, actually matches dark matter particles annihilating extremely well. Another potential explanation is that magnetized stars called pulsars are sending out the gamma rays. But it means that we can say that this excess could be caused by dark matter particles. Then, this month, an astronomer from the University of Tokyo was looking at the gamma rays coming from above and below the Milky Way. He analysed the same data from the Fermi telescope and also found an excess. When he tried to model this with all of the other sources he knew of for gamma rays and subtracted them from what he found, there was still leftover light, which could only be explained, he said, by dark matter radiation. This is still very controversial, and many astronomers disagree with his interpretation and say they need to do much more rigorous and hard tests of whether this data actually stands up to what he says it is. But taken together, all of these point towards possible tantalizing hints of dark matter for the very first time. Of course, there is still much more work that needs to be done in verifying these results, but we might finally be able to get a handle on what dark matter is.